Powered by Go-Goat Sports in partnership with TSN, it is episode 53, season 4 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Canadian Club Whiskey. ESPN's John Buccigross, who's calling the NCAA Frozen Four, friend of the show and close friend of yours, Ray Ferraro, will stop by to tee it up. And I kind of kicked myself. Obviously, in the world that we occupy, the hockey world, we pay attention, maybe not close attention, what's going on in the NCAA. I mean, there's enough going on in the NHL and the other feeder systems and whatnot. But when you get down to where the bracket is now, the semifinals and then the national championship on the weekend of the Frozen Four, it's like the world starts paying close attention, right? So to me, it's one of the better hockey events on an annual basis because you get to see the camaraderie and the true investment from all of these players on a national and international stage.
Well, I think tournament hockey's the best. I mean, it's the best of the sport because everything is focused in one area. There's no travel. You don't have to think about all the other variables, whether you're watching or producing it for TV or playing or, for the fans to come. They just have to go to one place. Mm-hmm. And it's the same theory. I mean, there's major junior hockey that goes on all year long, and the World Junior Tournament is a different thing. Yeah. The Memorial Cup is a different thing because the tournament is in one spot. And, for the Frozen Four, I like the fact that they've found a way to engage bigger buildings in bigger venues that can hold the tournament. The trick is that, the regionals happen and then there's not much time before the Frozen Four. And so people that might otherwise go aren't going to be able to because you got to turn the trip around and it's costly and such. But the games are awesome. The emotion of them and the importance of them to the players and the supporters is really evident. Butchie just loves it. He loves, getting to know the kids and hearing their stories. He's a big proponent of publicizing and getting out what some of these kids have done to get to the point that they're at. He loves that stuff, and it really comes through in the way he calls the games. It'll be a good weekend in Tampa for sure. Yeah,
John Buccigross from ESPN will join us on the Ray and Dregs podcast today. I could ask him about the sketchy gnocchi that I had on the weekend, but I don't want to drag the interview down, so maybe we'll just avoid that. But I sent you a picture because you remember a couple of seasons ago we got talking about gnocchi, and I honestly didn't really whatever. Yeah.
Gnocchi? What do you mean? No. Whatever.
What? How do I say it?
Gnocchi. There you go. Not gnocchi or whatever you call it. So
anyway, Holly comes home from Costco with a big bag of skillet gnocchi. And I took a picture of it. I mean, it wasn't very good. I'll be honest with you. I guess I shouldn't have expected it to be good. I was still kind of dealing with the lingering effects of the flu, so it wasn't on my food game. But I took the picture and sent it to you. And I mean, it was borderline disgust is how you responded to the picture.
First of all, you probably had the sauce that Holly picked up 2 aisles over.
No, there was no sauce. You just kind of fry it around in a pan. It was, I don't know, man. It was just
Well, what
weird.
Did I tell you? If my Nona was still alive, that would not have gone well for you. If I would have shown her that bag, that's not gnocchi. That's stuff in a bag.
Yeah.
I know you sent it to me just to kind of drive the wedge in a bit. And when it did, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is what you're eating?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, I won't do it a second time, I can assure you of that. So again, we've got John Buccigross from ESPN on today's podcast. Let's check out headlines today, Ray. And, I thought we'd have some fun with the amount of goal scoring that we're seeing in the National Hockey League this season.
We like goals.
The goal scoring line, in terms of the length of that line of players that is scoring 30, 35, 40 plus goals, is remarkable to me. So 19 players as we record the podcast here on Tuesday, between 35 and 40 goals. That's not including the 40-plus crowd. So I'm looking at guys like Carter Verhaeghe, who has 40 goals. Mark Scheifele, we talked about him on Friday. Disappointing. He's got to get out of his funk. Playing a little bit better now collectively, he and the Winnipeg Jets. But he's got 39 goals. Andrei Kuzmenko in Vancouver, 37. Jared McCann, Seattle, 37. Clayton Keller of the Arizona Coyotes with 36. I mean, it's just remarkable the amount of offense that we're seeing. Is it just the way the game has evolved over the last half dozen years or so?
Oh, I think there's a whole bunch of factors in it. We'll start. We talk all the time about the skill of the players today, and the focus is on improving your skill, improving your way to score goals. The kids that are coming up, their focus is not a 200-foot player. Their focus is, how do I provide offense? How do I create? And so they're better at it than in bigger numbers than they've ever been. That's number one. Number two, power plays are off the charts. I want to say like they're averaging right around 21%.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And the Oilers, I don't know what are they at now. I don't know. They got 85 power. They got 90 power play goals. Like it's crazy. So power plays are better. So that's more offense.
Yeah.
The rules have made the game more accessible for offense. It's way easier to stand in front of the net than it used to be. Like that's not up for debate. Like that.
Right.
It used to be,
you can't cross-check and hack and slash and do all the
well,
things.
It was legalized assault in front of the net. Like if a defenseman took a cross-checking penalty, somebody was hurt.
Right. Yeah.
And now that's so you can get in there and fight for pucks now. It's a good thing, but it makes it harder to defend. 1 year of the two that I got 40, 1 year, I want to say there was a crazy number of guys that got 40 goals and career highs that year. And so I would caution to say like that this is the new norm, because maybe it's 1 year, maybe it's a couple of years. I would suspect penalty killers change and start to figure out a new way to kill, to react to the way the power play has started to take over. It's always a give and take, a balance, an ebb and flow to it. So, but I like the goals are up over 6. I think it's more entertaining. And it was cool to see last year that offense didn't dry up in the playoffs. Penalties were still being called. Power plays were still a factor. And I think that's the way the game should be played.
Yeah. Okay. So from goal scoring to goaltending, Andrei Vasilevskiy, first star for last week's efforts. I mean, 2 shutouts in 3 games. What was his save percentage? Like 990 last week. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So a friendly and healthy reminder, isn't it? That he can be, and often is, the ultimate difference maker. So all the woes that John Cooper and the Lightning seemed to go through a month or so ago, I mean, that's distant memory now, isn't it? Based on the way this team is kind of finding its way.
Well, it is for sure. I mean, they've played their best hockey of late. It really feels like it's impossible for teams to say, oh, it's time to get going, and then they get going. But it kind of feels like Tampa did that. And so if you look at the standings right now, I don't know if you have them in front of you.
I was just going to check. Yeah.
I want to say the Leafs have 4 more wins than Tampa. Take a quick peek at that. And if you look at the NHL.
Yeah. So, no, Toronto, what'd you say? Toronto has 45 wins. Tampa Bay has 45 wins. Overtime, 10-6, 4 points.
So they have the same. They have the same number of wins now.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
I thought it was. I thought there was a difference of a couple.
Yeah.
So there is no difference between the teams, no matter. 80 games takes you in different routes and paths, and you end up at the end, and then you've got your point total. And so I don't know how anybody's a favorite. I don't know how anybody in this series would have the upper hand. I think Toronto is a really good team. I think they've got their best chance to beat a Tampa team that's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
you bring up the one thing that can, man, throw a blender or, throw a knife in the blender as big as anybody.
Yeah.
Like that. What if the Leafs score 5 goals in 3 games and Vasilevskiy has a couple of shutouts in the other 4 games and a couple of 45 savers? It's all possible.
It is 100% plausible. Yeah.
And when it gets as it gets deep into the series, this is crazy, but there's no pressure on Tampa. Tampa's already been successful.
Yeah.
The pressure is squarely going to fall to Toronto.
All right.
And Vasilevsky's been in every big game that you could sign up for, and Samsonov has not.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know about Matt Murray or, his status at this point, but his days of the big game goalie, those were 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about the Leafs goaltending, because you bring it up. Samsonov will be the starter in the playoffs. We'll see what happens after that. If Murray is longer term, and again, we're recording this Tuesday morning, so we'll learn more, if not later today, then obviously at some point this week. If Murray is longer term, and now you're Samsonov, Joe Wall, are the Leafs in trouble at that point? How much pressure does that put on Ilya Samsonov?
Well, I think the focus, whether it's Samsonov and Murray or Samsonov and Wall or Samsonov and Samsonov, there's all kinds of pressure on their goaltending, because nobody really knows how these guys will withstand a playoff run.
Right.
And again, I mean, like, you can say Matt Murray won 2 Stanley Cups, but it's quite some time ago, and his numbers over the last couple of years have not made you think that hot streak run is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I think that if the Leafs have an extended playoff run, they'll use 2 goalies.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think they're one of the teams that you would say is not going to be ride the one goalie and that's it. I don't think that's it. Joe Wall is really interesting because anytime he's played very well.
Mm-hmm.
What if games 1 and 2 don't go very great for Samsonov? What? Then what?
Yeah.
I mean, there are enough, not many, but there are enough stories of goalies with very limited experience coming in the playoffs and having a really great run.
Right.
Or playing a couple of really great games, from, of course, the gold standards, Ken Dryden in 1971. But, I was a Bruins fan, and out of nowhere came Mike Moffat.
Yeah.
And Mike Moffat was tremendous. And I don't know, can Joel Wall be that?
Maybe.
I don't know. It was a calculated, but a risk.
Yeah.
For Toronto to sign the goaltenders they did. I think they've given them what they could have hoped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the playoffs are a different act, and the problem is you got a monster standing 190 feet away from you.
Headlines with a bit of a Toronto Maple Leafs theme to it, only because of the business of the week, right? Micheal Bunting was targeted on Sunday. And I don't mean that in terms of the officiating. Leafs Nation believes that. I don't. He got the embellishment penalty on Sunday. He also then picked up a 10-minute misconduct penalty later for his antics. So is he an easy target because of the reputation, or do the officials just get fed up with it and say, all right, well, now I'm watching you, so I am going to find a penalty in the mayhem here?
Well, when you say an easy target, you mean for the refs or for the other team?
Well, maybe both, but for the refs.
Okay, well, I'll start with the other team. Anytime there's a scrum, one of the scouting points that teams will get is get a glove into this guy's face.
Yeah.
It's likely that he will not be able to control his emotion in that spot. Now maybe he'll do it 8 times in a row, and then the 9th time he'll flail back.
Yeah.
But every time there's a scrum or a whistle, somebody's got to get a glove in his face.
Yeah.
Not much, just give him a little face wash and then skate away. Because eventually his history has shown that he's going to snap back. And it's really hard. I know because I was a multi-player, like it's really hard to not be what you feel most comfortable playing in. Right. So to say to him, just stop, a lot of times he probably can't quite get to the stop button.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. There's always going to be a challenge until he shows that it's not a challenge, that he can just skate away from it most of the time. As far as the refs, again, from experience, you come in second place every time.
Yeah.
If you're berating the refs demonstratively, like if you're waving your arms around and you're drawing attention to your argument, you're not going to win. Like there are 1,000 penalties a game that the officials can call, and when you talk about, they manage the game, they look at the influence of the penalty or the play on the current play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last couple of years, honestly, I love the way the game's been officiated. I really do. Too. I really think they've kind of dialed this thing in. They've got it in a good way. If there's a split second decision to be made, he's not getting the benefit of the doubt.
No.
And so his job has to be to zip it and to play. And if he gets a penalty, just skate to the box.
Yeah.
You can say something on the way if you want, but keep your hands down by your side. Don't draw more attention to it. Just say your piece and get in the box. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Like star players do it. Middle of the road players do it. But if you're consistently, as he has shown up the ref, you're drawing attention to yourself, and that's never a good thing.
Those are your headlines. Good stuff. Our interviews on Ray and Dregs this year brought to you by Canadian Club Whiskey, who are asking, are you over beer? Why not try a refreshing CC ginger ale next time you're having a drink or watching a game?